Hello, you're with Libby from libbystamps.com, and I'm just going to show you today how I've made this little card. I was challenged by Leonie Schroeder to do a card using some of the weekly deals. So I've used the Happy Hearts textured impression folder and the 1/16 of an inch punch and the classy designer buttons for the tail, and it's a little tag that you can pull out and pop back in. So that's the front of the card, and it's just the back of the rabbit. I've put a bow on the bottom, and I've used the little hearts punch from the Itty Bitty Accents punch pack to punch out a couple of the hearts from the oval that I cut out. I've put one on the front and one on the back of the envelope, and on the inside of the card I've put 3 there in the corner. So I just thought I'd give you a few tips today on how I made this card. So we'll get started. Now I've already got parts of my card done. So the card base is just half a piece of A4 folded in half, and then I've cut the first layer to 14.3 by 10 centimeters, and I'll put all these measurements on my blog. The tag itself is cut to 5 centimeters wide by 12 centimeters long. I've then put it into the triple banner punch like so, punch down, and that's how I've got the end there. And then I'm using the black archival ink and the Hippity Hoppity stamp from And Many More. So this stamp here, I've just stamped on the bottom of my tag. To build my bunny, I've used, show you on the back here, it might be easier, a 2-inch circle, a 1.5-inch circle, and 2 of the large oval punches, plus I've used the 7/8 of an inch scallop circle punch, and then I've gone around them with Soft Sky and a sponge dauber and just sponged those. And then I've put one of the buttons on the tail. Now my tip for tying the button is to put the Whisper White Baker's twine. So I'm hoping you can see this. I've put the twine through opposite sides, and then what I'm going to do to help me tie the bow is get a blue dot, and because I've got one of these matte, self-healing matte underneath, I can put the glue dot on the button, and then I can stick that to the mat, and then I can just tie my bow, and it's so much easier than fiddling around with it. There's my bow, and I'll just fiddle with it. Till I get it to what I want, and then I'll just cut the ends. So there's my button, and I'll just use a sponge dauber and ink around the 7/8 of an inch scallop circle like that with Soft Sky, which is the card I'm using, and then I just pick this up off my board and stick the button where I want it, and hey presto, I've got my little cotton tail. Alright, now I'm not going to show you how I've sponged everything. I'll come back and do that later. But to do the front of my card, on the pink pirouette one, see the space I have from the embossing folder? I had that down the bottom of my pink pirouette one, so I've put ribbon across the bottom and tied a little bow. But this one's for a little boy, so I'm not sure that I want ribbon on that. But what I am going to do is work out where I want my oval. Now on this one I decided to put it more to the left than in the center, so you can really have it anywhere. And the way I worked out which oval to use was to just put my tag through to see which one it would go through quite easily. And then if you place your tag on the front, then you can work out where you would like your oval die to be punched out. So I might go about there this time, so I'll be back in a minute when I pop that through my big shot. So I've got my oval cut out, and that's the leftover. So what I'm going to do with this is, I don't want to put any dimensionals here on the bottom, but I can put them on the top and round the sides. I need one on the bottom of the card and on the top of the card. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my dimensionals on. Now I use just half a dimensional around the sides of the oval. That's just to lift the oval up a bit to help the tag slide through more easily. We're just going to pop that on the front of our card. Alright, so that's that bit done. And then we're going to build our rabbit. I'll show you how to do these hearts first of all. So get your little heart punch, and I just found it easier to turn it over to the debossed side, and you can actually see where to punch, so you can fit the punch into the debossed side quite easily. So I then I turned them over to make sure they were on the debossed side before I put glue on them. And then I just used my Tombow. And then I've got an inside for my card that measures 9.5 by 13.5, that I'm just going to pick up. And then on the envelope, they're my two envelopes for my card. Then I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow. Time to build our bunny, and I need to ink around all these, so I'll be back in a minute when I've finished. Alright, now I've inked around all of those in Soft Sky. I can put that away, and now we're going to build our rabbit. Now I just used Tombow, and I put it on the back of the bits. And I haven't put it on the ears just yet, and I'll explain why in a minute. Alright, so I just put my tummy of the rabbit towards the bottom, and then the head goes on next towards the top, and you need to centre it a little bit, and then I put the tail to one side. Alright, now before I do the ears, I'm going to use the 1/16 of an inch punch, and I'm just going to bring it in to the centre of the head, just below. I hope you can see that, and punch a little hole, and then I've got some more baker's twine here. Once that's through, just it helps if you can squeeze it with your fingernails too, but if you haven't got fingernails, that becomes a bit problematic. So I've just made a loop, and I'll just tie a little knot in the end there. Right, so that's my tag nearly done. However, I am going to just pop it through in here, and this is why I haven't put the ears on yet, because I want to see how far up the ears can go. So that's about as far down as the tag will go, and I want the card to still be able to fit into an envelope. So when I stick the ears on, they need to be inside the measurement of the card. So I'll just put a little bit of Tombow on. One I've done at an odd angle. So there's my card, and I can put, I think I will put a little bow down the bottom, which I tied earlier. Now I'm going to put 2 glue dots on my bow, so one towards the bottom, and then another one at the top, and then I'm going to stick that down on my card like so. And there I've got my 2 hippity hoppity Easter cards with tags, using some of this week's weekly deals. So I hope you enjoyed learning about some tips with that card. Bye for now.